Guys, welcome back to the 45th Olympiad being held in Budapest, Hungary right now. And we will be taking a look at round number 5, which was played yesterday, and we'll start by taking a look at the match between India and Azerbaijan. I mean, India, as I say in every single video regarding this Olympiad, probably the biggest favorite of this tournament considering the youngsters and just like how it goes so far. And Gukesh, who is playing on board 1. Bishop h4, we have Italian game. He is playing against another very strong youngster, Aydin Suleimanli. I actually know this guy. When we were very young, I played in European Chess Championship. He is a few years younger than me, and we used to play, football after every single round. But back to the action. So here, I didn't place knight h5, and of course Gukesh finds the pass move, which is knight f5, basically threatening knight on h5, and this discover attack, and also threatening to take on f7. So black need to come up with something. They play knight g3, attacking the rook, and now bishop f7. Very interesting tactic, because now basically either king f8 or king f7, there will be knight g6 4. So I didn't go king f8, now knight g6, let's say king f7, there would be knight h8 with the check. Now f takes g3. So f takes g3 is a very, very interesting move. Because you know why? F takes g3, you play f takes g3, but at the same time you see the bishop here, which looks towards. So it would be, many people would probably take here with h takes g3, but f takes g3 is actually the best move. So here, king f7 was played, knight h8, queen h8, and now no short castle is available for white. So they play d4, blocking this bishop off this diagonal, and they're ready to castle short side. And just to see what's happening, so basically black have two pieces for the rook, but the problem is this king on f7 is actually very terrible. That's why white have the full compensation for this, basically for these two pieces. King g7, castle, bishop d7, king h1, rook f8, queen e2, takes, and now queen e8. Queen f3, kinda, keeping an eye on f6, queen s7, knight c4, bishop e6, knight d3, knight d8, and now after knight f5 takes, this pawn is threatening fork to king and queen. So queen goes to f6, rook e1, bishop b6, g4, c5, d5, c4, and now rook e4, threatening pawn on c4. Maybe at some point queen goes here and then trying to enter the 7th rank. Bishop c5, a4, bishop a7, queen e2, h5, rook e7, and of course the position slowly collapses. Queen f5, h7, queen b1, queen e1, takes, and here black resigned. As there is no good defense, let's say king goes to g7, trying to stop this pawn. That's basically the only move to stop. Rook e7 is coming, and now if king goes here, or king goes here, just promotion. And if king h8, there is simple rook e8, rook d8. There is, computer says this, but of course this is easily winning, because then, this pawn has been under attack, and rook d7, rook b7. And so I didn't resign after rook e1, and Gukesh won his game. So India won without any troubles, I would say, 3-1, and they're one of the sole leaders of this tournament, along with other 3 teams, which I'll talk about next. Let's get to the next match. Team Hungary versus Ukraine. So Hungary is the host of this Olympiad, and usually when the team is the host, usually there are some expectations that the team can perform well. Own walls will basically, own environment will help you, and this is what happens with Team Hungary so far. They have a very solid team, and on board 1, Richard Rapport, who actually was playing for Romania a couple of years, and now he rejoined Team Hungary for the home Olympiad. And they also have a legend joining the team, who is Petr Leko. He wasn't playing in this match against Ukraine. There were other youngsters, not youngsters, but those grown men were playing. So, and on board 1 we had Vasily Ivanchuk playing against Richard Rapport, and we got a wild game to ourselves, which ended pretty quickly, I'm not gonna lie, but what you're about to see is insane. Bishop g4, e3, c5, takes, bishop f3, queen f3, knight e4. Already, you know, sacrificing the pawn, I mean offering another pawn sacrifice, but you know, black start having a lot of counterplays. He takes d5, takes, and now queen d5, threatening pawn on a2, trying basically to take maybe at some point on c5, rook d1, threatening queen, queen s6, rook d4, knight c5. Now, still keeping an eye on this, knight potential will jump to c6, but white have two bishops, and after simple bishop c4, they have kind of, you know, solid advantage. Queen c6, offering a queen trade early on. I mean, Richard is kind of okay with it, like, you know, probably going to the worst endgame, but, you know, maintain, you know, little chances. Bishop d5, queen b5, and at this point, this position seems, I mean, absolutely insane, because here Vasily could play bishop h6, hitting the rook on f8. If rook goes to d8 or c8, there's simple, basically queen f7, queen g7 checkmate. So, but here, according to computer, there is knight d3, very tricky move, king d2, queen b2. That's almost exactly the thing that happened in the game. So, and there are some knight d5 threats, knight c5. So, you know, it becomes very unclear what's going on. So, in the following position, a4 was played. And here, Richard Rapport plays knight d3 check. Now, king goes to d2, queen b2, king goes to d3, and now knight a6. So let's say bishop b7 is played, then there is knight c5 and knight b7, and black are actually winning the game due to this king being in the middle of the board. But Vasily plays rook c4. He's protecting himself from knight c5 check, but now rook a d8, pinning this bishop on this file. Bishop e5, which is a blunder, because here Richard plays e6, and of course Vasily is going for checkmate. He's like, man, you just basically weakened every single dark square on the board. How you gonna win? But Richard doesn't care. He plays rook d5, king f4, and now he sacrifices his rook for this bishop to avoid checkmate on g7 or h8 square. King e5, queen e2, hitting this rook, and also, I mean, at some point maybe trying to go for, you know, knight c5, or how it turns out later, knight b8 and threatening knight d7, knight c6. So rook d4 was played, and now knight b8, knight c6 is being threatened. At some point, you know, if rook would have gone up somewhere else, I mean, there's knight b8, knight d7. This king on a5 feels, you know, very, very weird. And after rook d6, queen c4, queen f4, and nobody knows what exactly happened here, because after queen f4, it looks like Vasily could resign himself. It's moved 26, he probably lost some time, but here simple f6 just ends the game, because there is nothing this king can do. And what other moves, the best move according to computer is rook h d1, there is simple knight c6, and of course, you know, this king is it's not an endgame. If they were playing without queens, then yeah, probably it's actually very good for white, because their king is closer to this side of the board. But here, unfortunately, queens are still on the board. Queen c3 is being threatened with queen capture, so Vasily resigned, and Team Hungary won their one more match, their 5th match of this tournament, and they're one of the leaders as well. And let's get to the team I haven't discussed yet in those recaps yet. Let's go. One of the teams that I haven't discussed is Team China, who have Jin Liren as their board number 1. And China was, I mean, they're still considered a huge favorite of this tournament. They have a very solid team, and they were playing against Spain yesterday. And exactly on this board, David Anton won all 4 games before this matchup, and Wei Yi is the one who was trying to stop him. So we have Sicilian on the board, Marozzi structure, takes, bishop b3, castle, queen d2, a5. So yeah, black weakened b5, you know, might have two squares now, b5 and d5, and generally white have no problems in the structures whatsoever, and basically white will start pressing black pieces here. Yeah, of course here trying to create counterplay, but white are very solid here. Knight d5, knight d5, takes, bishop d7, a3, e6, takes, bishop e6, bishop d4, bishop d4, queen d4, queen g5, hitting the rook on c1 and hitting the pawn on g2. But instead of going for simple castle, here Wei Yi plays very interesting king f2 move, basically saying that, alright, I don't need this, I'll rather have my king on f2 than on g1, and I mean still white are able to bring this rook to d1. And here h4, and the opportunity which black had is this queen c1. But it looks like actually here white have very interesting plan, which is to go for this, and you know, let's say they continue doing some nonsense, there is king f4. I mean, I'm just saying what some of the plans might be. King g5, rook c6, king h6, and just checkmate like this. But alright, that's all, like, you know, the tricks which those grandmasters of such level won't get into. So h4 is played, rook c3, takes, and now rook c8. At this point it looks like black have very solid position. Yeah, their king might potentially get in trouble because, you know, this rook might be activated somehow. This pawn on d6 is a huge weakness, but I mean c3 and a3 are weaknesses as well. So c4, queen f4, g3, queen e5, and we got into the following position where it seemed like probably the game is going to end in a draw. King e7, king e3, king d3. So players were just, you know, going around, takes, and slowly Wei Yi started outplaying his opponent, because here he created pass pawn, very crucial pass pawn. So, and according to computer, king e6 was the best move. So king e6, and here, let's say, because c5 cannot be played, right? So if king b4 takes, bishop c4, and here king e7, you know, white have a small edge, but it's not a critical edge, not a winning advantage at all. So, but here king e7, c5, bishop e6, rook e5, f6, rook e3, and it turns out that after rook c5, king b4, white will take this pawn, and white will grab this pawn on a4. So rook c1 was played, bishop b5, thus king a4. And white are up a pawn with a very dangerous a passed pawn. Rook c3, king d4, rook c4, king d5, rook c6, and now this pawn starts moving. a6, a7, rook b2, rook c8, bishop a8, bishop h1, rook c3, bishop a8, rook g3, hitting pawn on g6, and taking here, rook h6, king f4, rook h5, f5, rook h8, and of course black have nothing to do but resign, because eventually this pawn will promote or this pawn will promote, and white will end up winning the game. Takes, bishop a8, f2, and bishop g2, important move, takes, f1 promotion. Black have been promoted first in this game, but still it is not enough. King b8, and here David Anton admitted his loss, and Wei Yi won the only game of this match. This is the decisive game, and Team China won this match with 2.5 to 1.5. Let's see the standings after 5 rounds of this super interesting Olympiad. Alright guys, as you can see, Team India, Team China, Team Vietnam, sensational Vietnam is still unbeaten, and Team Hungary, 4 teams with 10 points, and then Iran and Norway, who are facing each other today, will be a very interesting matchup. And you know, for me, this Team Norway is like, you know, Team Argentina in the world of chess, because basically, they have their own Messi who's trying to leave this trophy, but it's never enough, and Magnus Carlsen has to carry his team to the goal. But teams like India, it looks like like Team Spain in football, or Team Brazil, who are always on top, and it will be very hard. So Team India is facing Hungary, and China is playing Vietnam, and it looks like in round number 7, which will be after the rest day, we might see India versus China. And of course, United States are kind of climbing the ratings as well. So, I mean, this Olympiad will be a lot cooler to the end of this tournament. So let's see what happens. I'll see you in the next recap tomorrow, and then we'll have the rest day. Maybe let me know what matches do you want me to analyze, or I'll just, pick my own games, something funny. Alright guys, bye bye.